All right, hi everyone. So we actually have Sean here, who's going to answer some questions for us. Britt and I, when we were creating this presentation, we thought it would be really important to include the voice of someone who's in recovery, speak on their experiences with stigma. We thought that would be more appropriate than us just lecturing straight from the textbook on stigma. And that would be more appropriate and fitting with the theme of the presentation to invite in someone in recovery to share about their experiences. So with that, I want to thank Sean for coming out. And Sean, do you want to introduce yourself and maybe share a little bit about your experiences with recovery, treatment services, and whatnot?
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys. I'm Sean. My sober date is February 4th, 2018. I just reached 3 years sober. In the beginning of me becoming in recovery, I was in a 12-step program. I was a member of AA. I then slowly transitioned out of that, and now my primary thing is therapy, one-on-one therapy, and taking my prescription meds. I am in school for social work right now, and I'm also going at the same time for my CADC. I've been in recovery on and off for about 6 years total, maybe a little less. I've been in multiple different types of treatment centers. I've been in long-term treatment, inpatient psychiatric treatment, detoxes, outpatient, one-on-one therapy, things of that nature.
Great, thank you. I wanted to then ask you if you've ever experienced stigma or bias in the past in any of your past treatment experiences and what those experiences were like for you if you did um, have to deal with that.
Yes, I have. I've had multiple different, staff members, clinicians, nurses, all types, refer to me as an alcoholic or an addict. And, it's almost dehumanizing in a sense. Like you just feel like that is your primary thing. That is what you are. You're an addict, and like that's all that you could possibly be.
Thank you for sharing that. Linked to that question, have you ever experienced any barriers after leaving treatment and reintegrating back into society with carrying these labels with you? And if so, what did that look and feel like?
Yeah, I definitely did. Transitioning from treatment into straight into AA, they're also referred to as like an alcoholic or an addict. And it's like the only voice they give you. It's like that is what you are and that's what you're addressed as. And like when you start to transition back into just like normality, into like a regular day-to-day life, you don't feel like you have any other persona but that.
Thank you, Sean.
And then on another note, what, if any, affirming interactions have you had related to your identity within a treatment setting?
So I do have one counselor that I have in mind, who was the first person to actually refer to me as a person in recovery. And it was mind-blowing for me at the time. I've been to multiple treatment centers before that, and I've never heard like those words in a sentence before. And it was very uplifting to me. It felt like I was no longer an addict, but someone who suffered from addiction.
That perspective shift can be, so pivotal. Thank you. And then lastly, if you could relay one message to take home for behavioral healthcare workers, especially, therapists, social workers, anyone in direct care, what would you like them to know about your experiences with stigma, and how could they better support people like you?
So like I was saying, like that transition from like only seeing myself as an addict to someone who suffers with addiction was like mind-blowing to me. I think positive language is extremely helpful to someone in treatment centers. You have to remind them that like that's just not what they are, that they're not only just an addict, but they're someone who suffers with a disease, and like to help them grow as a person when they get out of treatment centers or into the day-to-day lives. Like it's just much more helpful to use positive language instead.
Completely agree. Thank you so much. And with all of that, we are going to be summarizing our presentation and providing some references and resources. So once again, thank you, Sean, so much for providing some insight from a strengths-based person first perspective. Thank you.
Thank you,
No
Sean.
problem. Thank you for having me.